In problem 2, you were asked to look at the spending habits of females. No snickering. Well, females, we've got a gender column, right? Let's see, where is it? It's way over here at the right. Gender, we got 1 or 2. You're either male or female, or I don't know, there was something about some being another in there as well, right? No, Craig, that was marital status. Sorry about that, folks. I'm not trying to make stupid jokes. You're either male or female, but you know, look at how are we ever going to separate out the spending habits using our spending data for just females? I mean, it's combined. When we did a histogram, it was both males and females. Well, this is where something called a contingency table is used. And let's generate one. First of all, we're going to use the add-ins. We're going to use Data Analysis Plus for that. But what I found, or is what I recall I found, is that you need to have the 2 columns next to each other. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit unable to figure it out. But anyway, and so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to look at what you are going to look at, looking at the spending at Springdale and downtown and West Side versus male or female. I'm going to look at the frequency of shopping versus not gender, but something else that we have just a 1 or a 2 for. A 1 or a 2. Which was it? Marital status. Our column 28. And so what I'm going to have to do is first insert a slot over here. So let's look at the spending frequency at Springdale. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to insert a column here. And then I'm going to go copy the... You're doing gender in your work. I'm doing marital status. Yes. So I'm going to copy marital status. I'm going to grab that data, copy, go over here to the top right, and right there I'm going to paste it. I'm going to rename it. It's a stretch here. Keyboard's out of the way. M-A-R-R-I-E-D. Too many E's. How's that? Looking better? Yes. Clean things up. And let's see, what do we know about our marital status? 1 is married and 2 is single. So now I am going to take and go to the Add-ins tab and Data Analysis Plus, and we have 2 contingency tables. Contingency table and contingency table raw data. We need the raw data one. So I'll say OK. And once again, it looks familiar. Check the labels box as we're going to put labels on it. I'm going to get rid of what's in there, and I'm going to highlight those 2 columns. I'm going to leave the alpha at 05. What's that alpha all about? Well, that's a discussion for another day on a different week. I'm going to say OK. And Excel generated some data. This stuff in the lower part, we don't need, we don't care about. There, take that. What do we have here? Well, let's see. It's kind of strange here. Married, sitting here in A4, actually goes with these 2 guys. So I'm going to move that value up there. And let's see. Really, these are the frequency values down here. Let's do some cleanup here. And let's see, what do we have here? Frequency of shopping again, right? And let's see. Let's make this what it really is. Marital status. By the way, the graphs you guys created, the tables you created, the figures you created were quite nice. Some of you got a little bit too crazy with the colors. Remember, this is you're going into business, so we don't need wild and crazy. Be boring. This is one place where boring is good. So use the same color background on all your graphs. A whole bunch of you missed a label or two on your graph, so it was hard to tell what we were looking at. Of course, we knew what it was because we're very familiar with it, but some other user, make sure your both X and Y axes are labeled. Make sure there's a key if it's needed. Okay, well, we can change these to make it even more clear. What's a 1? Excuse me. 1 is a married. Why is my keyboard rocking? I don't know, and I want a capital M. And we're just going to call this over here single. I'm going to make my total rows pretty, because I like those pretty. Oh, but Craig said be boring. Well, this is just for clarity. Okay. So let's see. We need to clean these things up. Frequency of shopping. Let me pause for a second, fill those in. I filled in these titles. It's pretty clear now. Oh, couple mistakes. There's 1021 times per month. I think the rest look okay. So the higher you are on the chart, the more often you're going to the mall. Now you have to be a little bit careful with some of this data, especially these totals. For example, you might want to say, okay, we had married people going to the mall 67 times and single people going to the mall 83 times. Well, single people must go to the mall more. Is that correct? No, it is not. Not at all. Why? Well, remember, these are just our numbers of respondents to our survey. We had 67 married people. We had 83 single people. 67 versus 83 doesn't say anything about how often single and married people go to the mall. We have to look at our data to determine that. So let's ask some questions. All right, we're back. We're back in high-tech mode here. Using the $4 whiteboard. Let's ask some questions about probability. Okay, let's talk about married people. Let's calculate the probability of going to the mall, let's say once per week. And we want to talk about single people. So, again, probability is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by the total number of possible outcomes. So, how many people in our survey said they go to the mall once per week? How many favorable outcomes do we have? Well, in terms of probability, let's see. Where are we? We're looking for once per week and single. That would be this 10. All right, here's the tricky part. How many total possible outcomes are there, given that we're looking for people who are single who go to the mall once per week? Well, you might be tempted to write 150, but that would be incorrect. Because we've limited ourselves to single people, we need the total number of single people, and that's 83. And so we punch the numbers into our fancy calculator. And what do we find? We have roughly 12% of the people, 12% of single people reported they go once per week. That's the probability. What does probability really mean? Number of favorable outcomes over total outcomes? Well, our author gave several different definitions, and one talks about odds. If I had 100 people who were the same as the people in our survey, and we drew one out of the bunch, there would be a 12% chance that that person would be single and they go to the mall once per week. How's that? Okay, so We can also compare. We can say, let's talk about both single and married people who go to the mall 2 to 4 times per month. Who goes more often? Is it the single or married people? They look even, don't they? They're not even, are they? No. The probability that people go 2 to 4 times per month if you're married is equal to 25 favorable outcomes over 67 outcomes. 25 divided by 67 is roughly 37%. And the probability that you go to the mall 2 to the 4 times per month, but you are single, is a different story. Yes, 25 people reported they do. We have 25 favorable outcomes, but there was a total of 83 people in our survey who were single. 25 83rds is magically equal to 30.1%. So who goes to the mall more? Is it those who goes to the mall 2 to 4 times per month more? Married or single people? Well, now we know. It's the married people. I was going to do another problem, but I've looked and we've done all the types of problems that you are going to see in this critical thinking assignment. Keep the questions coming. I'm going to keep the videos going, and hopefully I'm going to get ahead one of these weeks and get it out there earlier. I'm sorry about that. I have a full-time job, and this one's on top of that. And I got this one real late, as you all know, so I'm busy. Yes, keep talking. Keep adding stuff in the discussion boards. I love the work that we're doing there. Learning some good stuff. Another comment, I hope you're all reading other people's discussion board items. You can learn a lot from that. You really can. Takes a little time, I know, especially if you're going to understand everything they're saying, but boy, I think it's worth it. All right, guys, very good. I'm here. Call on me.